Hey everybody, it's Nick. Happy Friday. This is part 5 in this week-long series that I've been running on the BS Free Spirituality Facebook page where I'm posting right now. And this series is all about the core values that underlie my new project, BS Free Spirituality. Before I jump into things, I'm going to share the video really quick on my personal page and in my group. So looks like nobody is on live yet, but if you jump in, just take a couple of deep breaths. Whether or not you're watching live today, it would help me if you could share this video on your own timeline and in groups that you are in. Share with people who you think would enjoy this kind of thing, basically exploring key concepts or values that I think are important in any life-changing journey, any transformational process that we are walking intentionally. Okay. Yeah, yesterday I couldn't see the comment box when I was posting live, and that concerned me a bit because I want to see if. So I'm going to actually put that in the comments in case somebody comes in while I'm talking. So before I talk about today's subject of expression, I actually want to mention at least a couple other things that are going on. One is that Cosmic Convergence Festival is coming up at Lake Atitlan, Guatemala, and this is a really special festival. This will be my third time there. I'm excited to go back, and each year I form deeper connections with the community there. If you're just jumping in, I'm talking about Cosmic Convergence Festival happening in Guatemala. It's a 4-day festival each year over New Year's, and it turns out I'm actually going to be leading 4 separate workshops, or 3 will be, I think, by myself, and then 1 will be co-hosted with my friend Nimrod from Israel. And so I'll lead an embodied nonviolent communication workshop, a cacao and tantra experience, a breathwork session, and then Nimrod and I will lead a men's circle, a men's journey. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Cosmic Convergence, if you haven't heard of it or if you haven't been there, is an intimate festival. It's only a few thousand people. I'm going to put the link in the comments here. Hopefully I got the link right. Find out if it brings up the. Okay, let me just test that really quick. Yeah, it looks right. So check out that link. Cosmic Convergence is I love it because there's amazing music, but it's really not so much about the lineup as some other places. It's not about the party really, even though you can have a great time. There's definitely a New Year's Eve vibe to the whole experience, but there's a lot of focus on workshops. There's a lot of focus on ceremonies. There's a lot of cacao. There's like 3 cacao ceremonies every day. So if this sparks something in you, then find a way to get down there. It's gonna be a wonderful time. I'm also gearing up to start exploring. Hey, hey Anthony, thanks for watching. Oh, in Africa. Awesome. Yeah, I'm in Detroit. If you didn't know that, I'm in Michigan in the U.S. And so, yeah, I'm gearing up to start on a lot of different travels this winter. Next week, I head to California to get set up my winter base there. Basically, where I'll be leading a lot of workshops, and I'll be putting my energy into some collaborative projects over there in California. And I'm also going to be looking into setting up a weekend retreat around San Diego. So if you are on the West Coast, or if you'd love to come out, I'll have more information about that, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And then that'll be building up momentum to the retreat that I'll host in Thailand in March. That'll be March 17th to 24th. It's called Adventure into the Tantric Unknown. And it's, I think you can think of it like a little intro step into the world of Tantra. It's not really what our culture normally it's not really about the stereotype of Tantra. It's really more broadly about how can we tap into our life energy, get into the parts of ourselves that have been cut off through cultural conditioning and scary experiences that we've had, unfortunate challenges that we all go through in life. So to get more in touch with our raw life force energy, and to put that to use in living out our purpose, finding more freedom, fulfillment. I don't know who Matthew Santoro was, sorry. So anyway, that's all I've got to say about events coming up in the next couple of months. And even if you're seeing this later on in the future, go to bsfreespirituality.com, click on the events page, and you'll see whatever I've got planned in the coming time. Workshops and retreats, and I'm also going to have online courses, video series, webinars, things like that. It's going to be great. So this week's series has been about the core values that underlie this new project that I'm building, BS Free Spirituality. I have realized how important it is to be really clear about the values in our personal lives, and also in a project like this, because then when we are clear about that, then it can inform the direction that we're going. It can help us decide where to put our energy most effectively, so that we can really have an impact in the world, and so that we can have the unique, specific impact that only we can have, because each of us has different gifts, different skills. Each of us has had our own infinitely unique path through life, a little bit different perspective on reality. So yeah, tapping into values helps across the board. But I've talked in these videos about self-responsibility, about taking responsibility for our own well-being, not expecting somebody else to do it for us. And then determination, really sticking with it over a period of time, because I believe that lasting change, really transforming our lives, does take some time and effort. Exploration, starting to look at this as an adventure, not just finding one school or theory to use forever, but to try out different things, to see and to feel what really works for us, and then to put together our own customized, personalized practice for introspection. Part 4 was about purpose, so getting clear on what is the unique meaning of my life, what is my highest contribution to the world. And then that leads into today's topic of expression. So to me, expression's always been one of my favorite topics to write about and talk about. In other words, it's always been really important to me, the idea of free expression, or even in a past life, I used to be in the world of journalism for a while, and the whole reason I got into it was because I was fascinated with the idea of freedom of speech, of free expression. In other words, that's a cornerstone in American culture. I'm sure it is other places as well, but to me, I could always feel the importance of that concept, of the importance of, in other words, of being able to speak our truth, and to have that be an actual protected freedom in the U.S. is something that meant a lot to me. And I remember 10, 15 years ago, when the internet was really starting to boom and social media was starting to change, I was under the impression that sites like Facebook and just with the internet overall, the way that more information was getting out than had ever been before, I believed that was going to instantaneously change a lot of things in our world and instantaneously change our social structures. I was a bit idealistic, as 20-somethings tend to be. So one problem that was there in that oversimplified view of speaking truth or freedom of speech is that if we haven't done any introspective work, if we haven't really looked at the cultural conditioning that has shaped the way that we think and the way that we talk, if we're coming from looks like there's some trolling happening in the comment box. If you guys have an actual question about what I'm talking about, or you want to share something about your experience, go ahead. If we are just saying whatever comes to mind without having examined our own patterns, our own internal processes, then you could say that the free speech would come from a place of ego. That in other words, it's not really going to have a lasting contribution to the world. It could contribute to, in other words, so here's another way to phrase it. If I see something wrong in the world, if I see something that bothers me in the world, I can sit around and complain about it. I can point fingers at other people. I can come from an idealistic perspective and think and talk about the way that I think the world should be, or I can check in with myself. I can take a minute to breathe and think about what on the human scale, because we live in a world of 7 billion people. So it's very common, I think, for people to fall into a place of apathy, of hopelessness, of for something to take over that just feels like what am I as one person going to be able to do to make a difference? I might as well just numb it and just distract myself. And especially in the social media world, it's very easy to interact with strangers and to post just to let the ego run amok, to make fun of people and to post what our ideals are, what our ideal world will be, and that's all coming from that original concept of free speech, that it's my right, I'm going to say what I want, and maybe some people believe that will actually have an impact, an improvement in the world, when a lot of times it just ends up being negative energy. In other words, if I complain, if I point fingers, even if I go online and share about tough stuff that I'm going through, and it has the context of, oh, woe is me, everything is, if there's that feeling of everything is doomed, then not only am I not taking responsibility to do something about my own situation, but I'm actually kind of infecting the other people that see that expression. So, and I see a lot of this on Facebook. And I've always kept it really personal on Facebook. I've always shared about things that I'm going through, but I always try to, if I'm going to share something personal about something tough that I've gone through, I feel a sense of responsibility to take it to a place of, okay, what influence do I have over the situation? How can I take control or how can I influence my own experience? Because the words that I'm using to describe what I'm going through has a big impact on that. And yeah, we're all in the driver's seat of our own situation. So if we don't like what's going on, we can make a change. Yeah, so again, there appears to be some trolling in the comment box, which is interesting because this is what I'm talking about today, about expression. I think it's very easy for people to contribute to chaos and to make things less coherent on the internet. No judgment, guys. If that's enjoyable for you, you're welcome to post whatever you want on the internet. That's what a lot of people use it for. I'm going to read what I put on my website in outlining the guiding values behind this project and how that informs everything that I offer, my coaching services, my workshops, my retreats, and online programs that I'll be sharing. So expression, we express our truth both with words and also with actions. It's a matter of duty to find our truth and take steps to share it. I understand this can be scary. That's what makes the journey worthwhile. It's like we're unfolding our story with each action. We're unfolding our destiny in a way. With each expression that arises from our core, our truth can and probably will change over time. And I think that's totally okay. I prefer to think big picture and not just in the moment, or definitely not just in the past, like what my truth used to be. But each of us is writing an opus, or each of us is on an odyssey. So I see, especially in the world of like publishing and science, there's a lot of people will often get put down if they change their perspective. I think that it's only natural that as we go through life and gather more information, more experiences, that our perspective is going to change, and to honor that and to allow that. Will do us a lot of good. So earlier in the video, I was talking about that what you might call expression that comes from the smaller part of ourself, the expression that doesn't take responsibility for our own well-being, that points fingers at other people, that just that takes away from the coherence. In other words, expression that doesn't have value to the collective culture, that doesn't contribute anything positive to what could be looked at as infinite problems in the world. So the alternative to that is, after having gone through the kind of process that I have described in the other videos, taking responsibility to make some change in our own lives, getting in touch with determination to keep going, even when the people start trolling, or when border guards appear, when voices appear saying that you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be taking control of your own life, you shouldn't be stepping into your power. Tapping into exploration, a sense of adventure, to explore into myself. What parts of myself am I not in touch with? What am I not giving enough energy to? How am I not being totally honest with myself about what works for me? And how am I avoiding, once I do see what works for me, how am I avoiding actually making some changes to bring more fulfillment into my life, to step into my power, to make some change in the world, because what else are we here to do? Are we going to watch TV all the time, or complain all the time? Go on the internet and find somebody who is speaking up, who's stepping up and offering some heartfelt contribution to the world. or are we going to actually make ourselves vulnerable, actually put ourselves outside of our comfort zone, and that's the next step, get in touch with our purpose. Because this is scary stuff. This thing that I'm describing takes courage. It takes asking for help, because none of us can do this alone. Whether I'm the one helping you, or whether it's a community, or some other loved one, or other coaches or facilitators, this is definitely part. There's something about this that we are stepping out on our own. We are the only one that we are with all the time. However, there's not one single road for everyone. There's not one single philosophy or program or practice that works for everyone. It's all about getting in touch with our individual purpose, getting a sense of being able to breathe into our own bodies and feel grounded and stable in our own skin, and leading from that. Not even necessarily needing to have a mission statement in words. It can help to write that kind of thing. But to be able to tap into the feeling, the embodied sense that we know who we are, that we know our place in this world, and that our contribution is meaningful, that our contribution can be meaningful if we take responsibility for it. All right. So thank you, tricksters, for joining us today. You're a valuable part of any mythical journey. The descent into the underworld always brings the hero into contact with demons and trolls. So that's okay. We all play different parts. I definitely played that part in the past when I was too afraid to stand out and speak up. I used to contribute to chaos and incoherence as well. So I have compassion for that. So expression. We live in a world where people are told to be quiet and shut up. As children, we're all allowed to be spontaneous and free and make noise and move however we want. And then as we get older, there's a systematic dampening of that, of wiping that out. And more we're told to keep our mouths shut, to not speak what we really think or feel, to not move the way that feels natural to us, not even to hold or to hold our body completely still instead of letting our body lead and do what it wants. So when, as adults, then we start to unravel the effects of all of that cultural conditioning, the punishment that has happened that lives in our muscle memory and also in our cellular memory, then this can be a scary thing. And not only might we encounter external situations like posting a live video and people posting trolling comments in the box, but then inside of ourselves, as we start to speak out, we might also encounter voices within us that we might project onto other people outside of us, but that some part of us still is a little bit addicted to the belief system and the way that lives and the way the beliefs live in our nervous system and in our body. In other words, we can also be our own worst enemy in a way. Anyway, water break. Where are we at time? So my motivation in sharing this free video series is to give a better sense of why I just changed the name of everything I'm doing. Inner Waymark is still my company, but BS Free Spirituality is the new public face of it. The way that I'm presenting what I'm doing, with the hopes of making introspective practice more accessible to ordinary people. So I use everyday language. I try to keep things down to earth as much as possible, and to create opportunities for people to have a direct experience. So you don't have to adopt my philosophy. You don't have to adopt my belief system. You don't have to agree with the things that I say. However, I think that there are, even though different things work for different things work for different people at different times, I think that there are parallels that exist in transformational process, in a transformational process, or in transformational work. I think that there are parallels that exist between some of the most effective tools and systems that I have found, that I've experienced in my own path, and so that's where my attention goes. I'm not that interested in creating a new system, like Nick Meador's transformational system or something. I have some ideas tying together what I do, and also I like to keep things really flexible, because every single person that I encounter, every person that comes to me to do some work, is going to have a completely unique situation. They're going to be at a completely different place in their journey. And so and I experience this in my workshops, that if I come in with too rigid an idea of the kind of process that I want to take people through, then I could actually cause more harm than good. It requires me as facilitator to be flexible in the moment, to breathe into my own intuition, and to be willing to pause and also change directions if whether the plan I had isn't working, or whether something comes up, which often happens, right? Whether it's a workshop or just life, things come up. But especially in that kind of container for personal development, I think sometimes just giving people the space to fully feel themselves and to fully be in their natural state, even that can bring up emotions, it can bring up memories from the past. So just allowing those things to flow can sometimes be really important. It can be an important first step. And then once we're more fully present in the space, more comfortable in our own skin, just being, then we can start to explore, how do we create more of a sense of embodied freedom? How do we negotiate with the voices inside of us, our beliefs and our self-talk, in a way that we can start to create new patterns. And then there becomes this weaving back and forth between working on the level of the mind with communication training and the repatterning of beliefs and self-talk, and then going back into the body and doing breath work or some shaking or some movement therapy or yoga. Yeah, I prefer personalized, customized approach to yoga over structured flows that expecting a large group of people to benefit all from the same rigid flow. But you get the idea. Then all this leads into an integration phase, which is a little bit what this video was about too. The idea of expression was, having gone through a journey, then how can I put the pieces together to get some insight that I can take out of this and integrate it, weave it into how I live my day-to-day life. So it's not just that I had a peak experience where I had some mystical encounter. That's fine if that happens, but what does it say about me? If I had a crazy dream last night, or if I have a memory come up of a past life, as a lot of people do, a lot of people describe having that kind of memory come up. But my belief, my approach to that, anything like that, is that it says something about who we are in this life. It says something about who we are right now, who we have been, what we've gone through, and where we are walking to, where we're heading in our life. In other words, whether there's some sensation that comes through our body, or something comes up through a dream, or just a flicker of sensation during a meditative practice like breath work. All of these things can be like hints of where to go next, of which direction to step more into in our life. So yes, I didn't say this yet. We express ourselves with words, but also we express ourselves with how we're living, and people can see from the outside if we're living in integrity with our own truth. I really believe this, that they might not realize it. They might just be picking it up from nonverbal signals, from our look, our energy, but people can tell if we're in our own integrity, and that has a huge impact. It's actually infectious, I think. So yeah, the more we do that as individuals, the more we give permission to others to start to speak their own truth and to live their truth through their actions. So that's I get tingly when I talk about expression. It's really important. And yeah, there's also fun exercises that I lead, catharsis exercises that come from the Osho therapy tradition, that involve yelling and screaming and waving our arms and just, letting everything out that we hold in on a regular basis to fit in to society. So to have that safe space where we can let those things out, it can release a lot of tension. It can create a lot of that more comfort, just being in the body, being in our own skin, to then get back into coherent space, coherence where we can, construct our words in a way that is more effective and meaningful to have a bigger impact in the world. So thank you for watching today. I'm going to jump off. I still have no idea what happened in the comment box earlier, but as I said, on any mythical journey, as we step more into our courage and stand up and speak out, we're going to encounter boundary guards. We're going to encounter tricksters, and so to just breathe through that. If that's one thing that I can demonstrate for today, I breathe through it, and I have compassion for people who have not yet started to make themselves vulnerable, to identify and speak their truth, and to live, to express their fullest self, and to face the fear of uncovering what our real destiny is. Because it's scary stuff, but it's a fear that's worth facing. I know for all the years that I didn't step into that fear, lean into that fear, I felt pretty miserable. So things get more exciting when we express ourselves. Thank you for watching. I'm going to post. So if you're watching this after, even right now, even at the end of the video, please share it on your page. If you're seeing this later, you can do that as well. It'll be available for replay. I'm going to have the whole 5-part video series up places soon, YouTube and on my website. And yeah, check out bsfreespirituality.com. Click around to the events page, and make sure you're getting my email newsletter. That's on the homepage. Look for the Thailand retreat. Hope to see you at Cosmic Convergence in Guatemala over New Year's. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Adios.